really enjoyed the movie. Thought it was very unnerving, and I thought your performance was really compelling. What initially drew you to the project? How did you get involved?
Um, my agent said there's a script that I think you'd be good for. The director wants to do a Zoom with you. I'll never forget it. I was actually up in Mammoth when I Zoomed with Barnaby, and I had such a strong feeling. Normally, you meet directors or projects, and you don't know if you're going to be doing that film. There's all these elements about getting a movie off the ground. I knew instantly when I met Barnaby that we were supposed to do this film together, and and I read the script, and I was really excited to tell this story. So we embarked on this journey, George.
No,
We
I'm
did.
really glad it all came together so seamlessly. I'm curious, the movie, over the course of the movie, your character kind of has this downward trajectory, right, of kind of going slowly and slowly deteriorating. I'm curious how you approached that role, given that I suspect you shot out of order, what it was like to kind of get into the different mind states of your character as he's deteriorating.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've done a few films where this has been kind of the journey. I remember I did a film called Child of God. It's a movie that came out a few years ago now, and it's a descent into, it's definitely a transformation from the opening scene to the ending. And this film, it's just about being ready and being prepared and making sure you know exactly where you are in the story. And that's it. It's just really just preparation, just making sure that you know that this is just, yeah, that's it, preparation.
Yeah, speaking of preparation, I'm curious what that entailed for this role. I know that for thank you for your service. I believe you prepared for that role by spending time with a veteran at a VA hospital, and so you've shown kind of the preparation that you put in and the care you put in for your roles. I'm wondering what preparation, if any, you had for this role in particular.
It's funny. His name was Sergeant Adam Michael Emery, and I just flew. He committed suicide 2 years after we put "Thank you for your service" out, and I literally just got back from San Antonio. I've stayed in contact with his daughter. She graduated high school, which
Oh
is like
wow,
the most amazing. I went to go support her because her father's not here anymore. But
that's beautiful.
you got to look at, like, I think that's one of the things I really liked about this movie is in the script and this role. A lot of films I get offered when I did that movie called Antlers with Guillermo del Toro and Scott Cooper, I got the role when I was really overweight at that time, coming off another film. I think I was at 220, and I ended up shooting that film at 138. And that was like a 4.5 month constant every day keto starvation, walking 26 miles a day, horrendous journey. But it was fun, and I appreciated the challenge. But this was a role where the preparation wasn't as demanding physically. It was more about the emotional life,
Mm.
and just putting myself in the right place going into those scenes. And that is one of the things that interested me. Is I normally play these people that you don't recognize or whatever, and this is more Scott. This is more, I look like myself in this movie, and that's a new thing.
Yeah, I definitely see that shine through. I'm curious, as you work on this film, the cast is very limited, and your interactions are limited to only a few cast members at most. What is that like to work on as opposed to a more ensemble piece where you're kind of one of many?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I come from the theater. I own a theater out here, and I that's what I did in my 20s, was just write every play I could and put it up. And some of the plays had 30 actors, but a lot of the plays have two actors. And what I did also loved about this script was it read in some parts of the script like a play. It didn't
Mm.
read like a screenplay. And I had an amazing partner in Kate, and she's such a brilliant actress that it felt like a play. It felt like, and I love that. So I've done tons of things where it was just me and another actress or actor, here engaging. But
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't change the work. It's just it's interesting because you get to have a deeper, more rich journey, I think, when it's more limited cast, because you get to
Mm.
see much more interaction and evolution in the dynamic. So that's something I love too.
I did have another question, if you don't mind. One of the beautiful things about movies, but also horror movies, is this ability to craft something so original while also leaning into different influences. And I definitely felt, Children of the Corn, 127 Hours, Hills of Eyes, different projects in this. Were there any movies that came to mind for you as you were kind of reading the script and working with Barnaby?
Well, yes, all the ones you just mentioned, especially Hills Have Eyes, and those, yeah, you nailed them. Like those are the films that really came to my mind. But what was interesting was it's kind of those elements are not prevalent throughout the whole thing. They're kind of it's a slow burn where those things start to really reemerge to where it's an onslaught of those things at the near towards the end of the film. But I like the fact that those elements from some of my favorite thrillers or horror films were in this script, but I felt like it was a fresh new take on it, and I hadn't seen this. I haven't even heard this story or seen this story or anything. So that's what drew me to it. It had those elements of what makes horror films really fun to watch,
Mm.
with what movies like that I grew up watching, like Taxi Driver, where it's more contained, a personal
Mm.
journey somebody's going on. So it had all those things, and that's why I think Barnaby did such a good job. He's a madman for coming up with this story, but he did come up with this story, and I think it's really powerful and fun to watch.
Yeah, and it comes together as this kind of beautiful, honoring of other films while also being something so original itself. Yeah, no, thank you so much for being able to speak with me. I think the movie's going to resonate with a lot of horror fans, a lot of cinema fans more generally. So yeah, thank you so much, Scott.
Hey, George, I appreciate you taking time today, man. Thank you.